Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a brand new Blitz News Update, whereby we, of course, discuss some lovely news. And today we're actually going to be discussing something that isn't particularly new, which as a result of that kind of makes it difficult to say that it's news, but it is something that I wanted to touch on because I'm really excited about it, and because I did want to go ahead and announce the fact that LEGO Worlds will be returning to the channel. So if you don't remember, there's a game that was called, or that is, sorry, called LEGO Worlds. It is still in early access on Steam, and essentially what it is the best way to describe it, I would probably say that it's very much like Minecraft crossed over with LEGO games, so it's kind of that. Well, at E3, they actually announced a huge new update coming to the game. And this is a really big update. Unlike several of the other updates that I've covered before on my episodes of LEGO Worlds, which, by the way, I will link the playlist to my videos for LEGO Worlds so that you could go ahead and check that out. So definitely do so if you enjoy it. And essentially, the previous few updates, you know, they were definitely major by the accounts of the people who are playing the game, i.e. adding more characters, adding more variation to the gameplay and such. But this update is really massive for the entirety of the game, and more importantly than even that, it is a huge update for people who might now be intrigued to play it. So, we're going to look at the trailer in just a moment, but let me go ahead and actually first and foremost cover the things that are going to be added into the game. We're going to watch the trailer together, so that'll be a whole bunch of fun, and we'll look at that in just a moment. But first, let's discuss the things that are being added and the things that are new. So first and foremost, the biggest addition is probably the first-person camera. So this is something that a lot of people have wanted to see, especially fans of Minecraft have wanted to see, hey, let us play as though we are in Minecraft, or let us play from the first-person perspective. So let me go ahead and instead of look at my character and see it from a third-person perspective, and let me go ahead and see things from a first-person view. And for those that don't know what first-person versus third-person is, third-person is typically when you can see the entire character model or majority of your character model running around, whereas first-person, you are basically seeing it as though you are the character. So you are seeing only, let's say, your arms, so something along the lines of Minecraft. Now, of course, in Minecraft, you could also change different camera looks and such, but the primary one is obviously first person. So that's a huge addition. That is something that a lot of people, including myself, are very excited, especially to check it out, because I'm really intrigued to see how this will all play out. So looking forward to seeing how this will all work, but that is definitely a really cool addition to the game. Now, for those of you that don't know how to activate it, just a little bit of a tip here. You can go ahead and cycle between the different camera modes by pressing C on the keyboard, or if you're playing with a controller such as the DualShock 4 or the Xbox controllers, all you need to do is go on ahead and actually click in the left stick. So you know how you have the right stick and left stick? You have to click it in, and that will allow you to cycle through the different camera views as well. So there you go. Then the next addition is the Grapple Gun. And this Grapple Gun is really cool because it will essentially allow you to go ahead and swoop across the city a la Batman, which is really cool. So you'll be able to zip from point to point nice and quick, which is super duper awesome. And I think that that's actually a really cool addition because it allows you to have more verticality to the gameplay in terms of being able to move quickly on a vertical basis. Instead of just moving by climbing up vertically, you can now actually use the grapple gun to shoot yourself forwards and propel yourself much faster throughout the map, and therefore you're going to be able to get around the map faster without having to resort to use, for example, a vehicle or like a dragon or any type of other mobs. So moving on to the next thing, which is the new vehicle controls. So this is actually a really cool addition because honestly, to me, some of the controls for the vehicles were a little bit more tricky, where essentially you'd have to kind of like point in a direction and then drive forwards. So now it's a lot simpler, where there's a specific button to go forwards and there's a specific button to go backwards, which they titled to be rotational controls. So you're going to be able to, instead of having to point and where you're going is where you're going to be driving. So let's say if your camera previously was pointed backwards, and even if you were pressing to drive forward, you'd go backwards because you're looking backwards. So now that won't be the case. If you're holding the forward button, you're going forward. If you're holding the backward or reverse button, you're going backwards. And that's a really cool addition. It's a very simple thing, but I think it's something that will make the game much more fun to play. Next up, we have the a very close addition to the vehicle controls is the fact that they're going to be going ahead and adding some road tiles. So these road tiles are like the official Lego City road tiles, so you could go ahead and use them within the brick building tool. And I think that that is a really cool idea because you could go ahead and then lay out actual road passageways, and you could have a whole city built out. And I think that that's just a really, really fun idea, and something that I think will be a whole bunch of fun to explore with being able to have actual pathways and such. And the other cool thing is that you can essentially now use Lego Worlds as almost like a mock building thing where you're like, hey, you know, I'd love to build this set in real life. And I'd like to build this setup, let's say in real life, but you don't really want to go out and buy everything, or maybe you can't afford to buy all the parts right away. You could build it in Lego Worlds and adjust things and be like, I actually really like using the road tiles to create this kind of passageway and then this kind of building and so on and so forth. So I think that's a really cool addition. Super duper stoked to check that out as well on the upcoming episode of Lego Worlds, which of course I will be announcing in just a moment when it will be returning. Now, next up after that, we have the updated Biome atmospherics and large-scale ambient occlusion, which sounds very, 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 very super duper fancy, but essentially they've added a lot more lighting improvements. They've added basically a lot more additions to the way that the environments look. So it's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo that can basically be broken down to the game looks a lot more beautiful than it did before. For example, if you go into areas like the spooky forest or like at nighttime, the light that the moon and the sun is going to be generating is way more, first of all, polished, and it just adds to the ambience of the entire game so much more. And I think that that's a really cool idea. So for example, shadows are going to have a lot more depth to them now, and the way that the sun interacts with all the different objects in the environment will have an impact. And I think by giving stuff a lot more shadows and using lighting properly, it gives everything in the world a lot more weight, and therefore it looks a lot more three-dimensional, and it looks a lot more just kind of complete, because prior to this there was a very plasticky feel to everything, which it should because it is Lego after all. But I really love that now, thanks to all the shadowing and little effects that they've added and are going to be added throughout, it just feels like everything has a lot more depth, and I really, really do like the way that it all turned out. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, there is also a trailer that we need to look at, which was the online multiplayer E3 trailer, and that is, of course, the biggest piece of news, so saving that one for last. Yes, you will indeed be now able to play online multiplayer. No, not offline, online multiplayer in Lego Worlds. So you could have your friends come into your world. You could build your own planets, or not planet. Well, I guess planets as well. Just build out whatever you want and construct whatever crazy things you want to come up with mini games, whatever it is. And that's what made me so excited to get back into it, because now I could go ahead and play the game with others as well. So that should be pretty exciting. So as far as when the return of the series will be, I do want to go ahead and confirm that every Friday there will now be a new episode of Lego Worlds going forward for the foreseeable future. So of course, if you want to see that, drop a like on this video, and of course, check out the return of Lego Worlds this Friday. I hope you will be checking that out, and I hope that you guys will enjoy that as well. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and strap on in and check out this online multiplayer E3 trailer. Here we go. All right. Whoops. All right. All footage was captured in real time using the Lego Worlds game, which is a really good idea because it just makes you know that it's kind of gives you the idea of what's possible. Oh man, look at that! Everything is so much smoother the way that's being built. Look at those flowers. Everything is so perfectly laid out. Oh my goodness, that is a giant mess. And then you have the giant mess of Nigel. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Nigel. A singular vision. There it is. There's the biggest piece of news, is the fact that you can go ahead and play online with your friends. That is so cool. Hey, that's an Ninjago vehicle. Whoa, dude, that was her house. Okay. Oh my goodness, here we go. Look at that, paint it all up.
And when two
Nice and beautiful, huh?
like Jenny and Nigel work
That's a
together
cool looking
online,
castle.
something truly
Wonderful will happen when we get back into LEGO Worlds, because there's a lot to explore. There's the Grapple Gun, by the way, and as you saw right there, it allows you to travel quick, which is pretty sweet.
two visions.
Oh my googly moogly LEGO Worlds now with online multiplayer. Whew, alright, so there it is. Join the early access beta now on Steam. So keep in mind, again, that's the other thing I do want to remind people, is that this game is still in early access, meaning it is not complete and it is not a full release yet. But there's a lot of substance there already. So I'm really hopeful that as they continue to patch the game further and further and further and add all these different things, because you can clearly tell they're listening to all the concerns that people are posting on the forums and such, and saying like, hey, it'd be really nice if you added more lighting, or it'd be really cool if you guys fixed the vehicle controls, or it'd be really cool to have online multiplayer, or it'd be really cool if you fixed the vehicle controls, which I already mentioned. But all of these things, they've just went ahead and they were like, okay, let's do a huge update. Boom, fixed all that. What's next? So I really, really love that, because it shows commitment from the developers to continuously improve the game, which will hopefully continue in perpetuity, and we'll be able to get a better and better game with each and every single update. So with that in mind, ladies and gents, of course, I do hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode of Blitz News. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. I will catch you guys on Friday with the return of LEGO Worlds. As always, have an absolutely fantastic day, guys, and I'll see you guys later, alligators. Bye-bye, everyone!